Bound is a book that has exploded on TikTok, whether it's for a good reason or a bad reason. I have to admit, I've already read the first 13% of this book, and so far, I believe I'm going to rate this 5 stars. I'm more than enjoying this. This is a concept that is something different, and I have been looking for romantasy books specifically that provide something a little bit different than just the normal sassy FMC and some broody Fey Warrior. And I think Direbound might be it. I've seen some bad reviews on this. I've seen some positive reviews on this. I'm going to read Shields of Sparrow, Shield and Sparrow. The book cover is over here, so I will be reading that. Direbound is in here. The Knight and the Moth is going to be featured in this. But let's see. I'm predicting that all of these books are going to be 5 stars, and I hope I'm not disappointed. Either way, you'll know. I'll check in at the 20% mark for Direbound and let you guys know how I'm feeling about it. 50% mark check in for Direbound, and it's a little slow. It's a little slow. Like the beginning of it, really nice pacing. I'm really liking our FMC and what's happening with her and the action and everything and the storytelling. However, where I am right now in the book is really repetitive and slow, and I'm predicting a lot of things that seem like they're really obvious. I'm not going to say what they are, obviously, just in case they do happen, but actually, can I say? No, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say. But like a lot of stuff, because it's so repetitive and like we're getting beaten over the head with certain things as the reader, it just feels like this is obviously this is obviously what's going to happen. Because of this, when I started reading this, I was thinking this is going to be easy 5 star. And because of the repetitive nature of everything that I'm continuing to read, like the rating is like going down. So right now in my mind, this is 4.5 stars. Like it's gone down. And I'm hoping that this improves. It seems like the author was like really in her pen and like really going in. And I think some editing and some taking out of stuff could have been definitely useful so far, but I don't know. For the things that are like blatantly obvious right now, maybe there's going to be a big shift, a big change at the end. Hopefully that'll be the case. Yeah. I reached the end of Direbound and I had a good time with this, but what I was fearing when I was at the 50% mark ended up actually being true, and it was very predictable from the very beginning, and because of that, I'm going to end up rating this a 4 star book. In general, I had a nice time with this, and it was nice to read something that's not your normal fantasy romance. And pretty much the story really read like Omegaverse until the last little bit of it, where there is more stuff with magic and less stuff having to do with the wolves and the pack hierarchy and all of that. There was a big slog from, I would say, 40% to 80% even, where it was just like, I don't know. I feel like the author was like really feeling their pen. It could have been edited. A lot of the stuff could have been edited in order to move the story forward. And I don't know, was the author afraid to write a shorter fantasy book or what? Because the story is only like 500 something pages, but it could have been shorter. This could have been a 400 pager easily. It could have easily been like a 400 pager. But in general, the story, the FMC, the MMC, and it was obviously the MMC was, I really enjoyed this. So yeah, for that reason, it's 4 stars. If there was more editing done, I definitely think that this could have at least been 4.75, because like I said before, when I picked this up, I already had in my mind, oh, this is gonna be a 5 star, like as soon as I was reading it, because I was enjoying the beginning of it so much. I'm not disappointed by the end, and I'll definitely pick up the next book if it's coming out next month. So I will be picking that up, and I'm super duper excited about that. The next book that I'm going to read came out in February of this year. It's Cursed Bound, and I'm very excited for this because Fate Bound, which is book number one, was very interesting. It almost was a 5-star book for me, but then it the way it ended, I still haven't even rated it just because of how it ended. I'm gonna start Cursebound, and I'll check in periodically throughout my read of Cursebound, but especially at the beginning because I feel like I need to know, is it gonna change? Is book two gonna change how I felt about book one and how we ended off in book one? So I'm really looking for that specifically. I'll check in for Cursebound unless I pick up something else, and if I pick up something else, then I'll let you guys know. So I finally picked up The Night and the Moth, and I know I said that I was going to read Cursebound, and I'm still going to read that in this video, but I ended up picking up The Night and the Moth, and so far I'm really, really enjoying this. I have been complaining about fantasy romance using the same tropes and the FMC always being Selena Sardathian, which is annoying. Yes, Selena Sardathian from Throne of Glass was done extraordinarily well. Extraordinarily well. But I'm tired of reading her story. Like and The Night and the Moth, Rachel Gillick really manages to write something different. And this is not a surprise because if you know the name Rachel Gillick, then you know One Dark Window, Two Twisted Crowns, I think it's the second book. And those fantasy romance stories were very different, like very different. And The Night and the Moth, I know everybody goes crazy about the Shepherd King duology, but The Night and the Moth, y'all, I think this is much better. Like, I like the Shepherd King duology. I wasn't as crazy about it as a lot of people. Like, a lot of people, like, that is their like 5-6 star book. For me, I think I rated that book like 4 stars, or like, yeah, 4 stars. I think I couldn't have been higher than that. But The Night and the Moth, this is very different, and this feels much more adult. And yeah, I'm really super duper enjoying it so far. So when I check in again, I'll let you guys know how I'm feeling about it. But so far, so good. I think this is probably gonna be the first 5 star of this vlog. So let's cross our fingers for that. But so far, I'm really feeling this book. But then again, I thought Direbound was gonna be a 5 star, and that did not end up being a 5 star for me. So yeah, let's I'm tentatively hopeful that this is going to be the first 5 star of the vlog. Okay, so The Night and the Moth is turning out to be good. The plot is very, very different. It's actually reminding me of a book by Carissa Broadbent and how the FMC is blindfolded and also a part of this like not priesthood, but like priest. I think priesthood is the word that I'm looking for. Of like these blind, well, not blind in this case, because well, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I'm sorry. I am at the 50% mark in The Night and the Moth. And I don't think they're blind. I think I'm inventing that because of the Carissa Broadbent, like the similarities with the name of this book that is totally escaping me. Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. Is that what it is? That might be it. No, Slaying the Vampire Conqueror is something else. This is something else. No, Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. I don't know. I'm gonna pop the book up over there. But yeah, so I'm enjoying this. This is very different, even though it did remind me of the Carissa Broadbent thing. Like, these stories are not similar at all, except for like the priestess with the blindfold thing going on. But we have like our normal broody MMC who
is who comes upon this priestess. Well, he doesn't come upon her like his king, like wants something, wants. I'm trying to like, what's a spoiler and what's not a spoiler? The thing is, y'all, I am a Kindle reader primarily, and I purchase books after I've already read them on the Kindle, or I listen to audiobooks. So half the time, no, like 99% of the time, I do not read the synopsis before I get into the books. I'm like, what's a spoiler and what's not a spoiler? Um, but I don't think this is not a spoiler. She's a priestess, so obviously she believes in a certain thing, or she believes in a certain higher power or whatever. And our obvious MMC does not believe at all, and they do not like each other. They're very combative with each other, but it's obvious that they're going to be the couple. And so far, I'm really, really liking this. I'm still feeling like this could very much be a 5-star read. And to be honest, again, I'm going back to the Shepherd King duology. This is much easier to pick up and continue reading versus the Shepherd King duology. You don't need the extra stuff to help you get through this. The Shepherd King duology, it was a wintertime read. You're on vacation and you're maybe not doing anything. So you have a hot drink and you sit down and get cozy and it's atmospheric. Okay, great. With this, The Night and the Moth, I feel like I could read this any time of the year because it's just good and it's easy to get through. So I'm totally having a good time with this. I'm fingers crossed still that this is going to be the first 5-star in this vlog. The Night and the Moth. So, The Night and the Moth did not end up being a 5-star for me. It is a 4.5 star though. This is a really, really good one. And it's different. Like I think I'm gonna keep saying that. I think this might be the theme for this vlog. Like I thought it was gonna be how many 5 stars I can get, but the energy really is like reading fantasy romance that's not like every other fantasy romance. This was really, really different. I really enjoyed this. I'm really not sure what's a spoiler. And it's so funny because anytime like I watch a review of one of Rachel Gillick's books, I feel like the reviewer always has such a hard time trying to explain what the book is about. And even in like the explanations of like this book for the people that got arcs, like some of the stuff turned me off from wanting to read it. But what I can say to you is Bartholomew, 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 Bartholomew. If you read this, to me, the best character in this is one of the gargoyles, Bartholomew. Yeah, the gargoyle. Like the gargoyle was like so funny. Like it was really taking me out how ridiculous the whole situation is with the gargoyle. And yeah, I mean, the love story, like it's interesting, it's different, yeah. But the gargoyle, legit, the gargoyle is the best part. Like, Princess Donna is the best part of Dungeon Crawler Carl. Like, Bartholomew. I ended up rating this 4.5 stars because the story was different, which is gonna be a positive all around. But when I thought about, in order for something to be a 5-star for me, I need to have some kind of emotional impact. Whether it's a happy emotional impact, something like House in the Cerulean Sea, those books make me so happy. Or if it's like a devastated, tragic impact, like The Mercenary and the Mortician, I need to have like a really strong emotional connection. And I just don't have that with this. I had a good time. I enjoyed reading it. I'm glad that I did pick this up. I'm glad that I did read it. But the impact is not that strong and I don't really feel compelled to buy it. That's an indication for me. But I do rate this 4.5 stars and I do recommend it. Okay, so the next book I picked up was via audio and it is Shield of Sparrows. Um, this is really interesting. So I saw a lot of hype at the time between Silver Elite and this book Shield of Sparrows because I think that they came out around the same time. They're both releases from this year. And Silver Elite got a lot of backlash for whatever reason. But Shield of Sparrows hasn't really gotten a whole lot of backlash. And to be honest, I pretty much enjoyed them the same amount. Like Shield of Sparrows was a 4-star read for me. Like this is another fantasy romance in this vlog. I just have gotten really lucky this week. This is another fantasy romance that is something different. But I think like there are some pitfalls in this. I did end up rating this 4 stars before I even continued, but there's some pitfalls in this. And one of those main pitfalls is the plot. Number one, the plot, the reasons why people are doing things is not explained enough for me. The magic system also doesn't totally make sense to me and what's happening. I understand being suspense, but I feel like the plot needs to like enhance the suspense or the plot needs to enhance the magic system. And I don't feel like either one of those things happen in this book. If you are a reader that really, really enjoys banter over plot and banter over like kind of character development, it's difficult to say what I'm trying to say in this. It was just okay. Would I read the second book? Probably. Just if I'm looking for something to read and I don't have something to read, then yeah, I would probably read the second book. But am I impressed? No. Is this bad? Also, no. Like I enjoyed the banter, but like in terms of like a fantasy book, I need more plot. And I need more things to be fleshed out. I need things to make more sense, and they didn't really make sense. But overall, in terms of the FMC and the MMC, I enjoyed them. Another thing that I didn't really care for because it was heavy handed with stuff was how predictable it was. The book was very predictable. And yeah, I saw some reviews where they were like, oh, like this was predictable until the last 20% or so. I can't really tell you what happened before the last 20%. I mean, it was just kind of noisy in terms of the writing. It's kind of noisy. I just know the banter. I really liked the banter. I thought the banter was cute, but this book was very predictable. Very, very predictable. And even what happened at the end was kind of predictable. I wasn't surprised by anything in this book. And it reminds me of Just From Honest Fiction's review because I remember she struggled getting through this and did not want to finish it. She really was up and down with DNFing. And even after she finished, it did seem like it was kind of unsatisfying for her at the end of it. So, I mean, I'm kind of at that same place. Do I recommend this? My answer is maybe. For the general experience and what happened, I ended up rating this 4 stars. I mean, yeah, maybe I'm just generous with my ratings. I don't know. But yeah, it's not bad. Would I read it again? Maybe even. Maybe. To in preparation for the next book. Maybe I would pick this up again. But was I impressed by this? No. I'm back, y'all, and I have been doing some reading. I started off this vlog with Faybound, which I ended up rating at 4 stars. Still thinking about that rating. The longer I think about that rating might go down to 3.75. We'll see. But right now it's sitting at 4 stars. And since then, I have picked up Cursebound, which released in March or February of this year. So it is the newest release in the series. Because I was really... I didn't want to say that I was disappointed by the ending of book one, but I was really disappointed by the ending of book one.
a lot of what happened felt like a major info dump at the end, and I feel like the author spent too much time prioritizing the petty drama in the story versus actually developing the plot, which I didn't feel like that happened, and it left the ending to be really unsatisfying. And I was trying to reserve that thought for when I picked up book 2, and I have since read book 2, Cursebound, and I'm even more sure that I'm disappointed in the ending, because not only did we end on the cliffhanger, but when we come back to book 2, it's first of all the point of view changes, and we are more focused on Leto's point of view, and Leto becomes the FMC pretty much in this one, as far as I'm concerned, versus the FMC from the first book, which was Urine. Yes, her name is Urine. So it left Urine and Fury's story unresolved, which was really unsatisfying. And the resolution that we do get is also really unsatisfying. And for that, I ended up rating Cursebound 3 stars, and I even think that's generous. I walked away from this thinking, I don't think I want to read anything else from this author, which is really a shame because there are so few fantasies that are completely centered around Black characters, like completely centered around Black characters. And there's so few Black fantasy authors. I'm not even sure if this author is a Black fantasy author. I will have to Google that. I was more interested in the story because it is Black fantasy characters in Fae form or in Elven form, in Fae form or Elven form, but they're still Black. So it's always good to read something and feel represented in the material. And because of that, like, I really wanted to like this more than I did. And even now, like, expressing my feelings about this, I'm like, I want to say how much I like this, but I also want to be honest, because, you know, I would hate for someone to go and read something based on my recommendation, and like, we really match up on recommendation things and like books that we really, and you go and read something that I said that I like, and then it's, oh, did you like that though? Because it doesn't really match. And also, like, I group read Cursebound, and like, I'm the only one in my group that has really been like lowballing these ratings. It's interesting because there is one more person in our group that rated Faemound the same as me, but their experience with it is totally different. They just gave it what they gave it. But Cursebound, y'all, I don't recommend. I don't recommend Cursebound. I'm not really sure I recommend this series. I'm disappointed. I know that this is not the last book in the series, but I am really not sure if I would pick up another book in this series from this author. And I really wanted this author to be an author for me, but unfortunately they are not. Since reading Cursebound, I then picked up On Wings of Blood. And when I tell you that the last book I read is the only 5-star in this whole vlog, On Wings of Blood, now we were in our bag, okay? If you really enjoyed Zodiac Academy, and if you are a day one, it's not that many of y'all, but if you are a day one, then you know that I absolutely went insane for Zodiac Academy. It's the only book that I have a tier rank list of the characters in the story. So I absolutely loved Zodiac, rated every book, raved about every book. That is a 4.75 star series for me out of 11 books, 4.75. Come on, y'all. If you really like Zodiac Academy and Tori got on your nerves, but you really like Darcy, then On Wings of Blood is definitely gonna be for you. So we have an academy setting. We do have a fae. We do have a fae. We have a fae. But we have vampires. We have dragons. So it was really good. It is different from Zodiac Academy, but when I tell you that the vibes are almost like they're very close. It's very much so Darcy, very much like we even have a little bit of a teacher tease, but also this incorporates some MM stuff. And a lot of books that I've been reading lately are like gay. And like, it is Pride Month, and I'm happy to read gay books. I'm happy to read gay books all year long, because gay all year long, black all year long. Anyway, but it's nice to like be surprised. Oh, it's gay. So, oh, all right, it's gay. All right, yes, gay. But anyway, On Wings of Blood was really good. The vampires in this, though, remind me a little bit of the vampires from Quicksilver. And I love those vampires. Very dark, very evil, very like... Also, you know what? They remind me of the vampires from Jennifer L. Armentrout's Of Flesh and Fire and from Blood and Ash. Like, these vampires, it's the same kind of... But in a good way. Like, I'm not comparing this as a negative thing. I'm not comparing this as a negative thing. On Wings of Blood is a very unique story. Even though it gave me the same vibes in terms of personality as Zodiac Academy, this is very much its own thing. Very much an original concept. Yes, there's an academy. Yes, there are vampires. But no, this is not going to give you fourth wing. Not at all. Not whatsoever. I really like our FMC. She's very sneaky. She's very secretive. But she is keeping her secrets like close to the chest, and she knows what her secrets are from the very beginning. And like, we are discovering secrets with her. And also she's discovering, even though she's like keeping her stuff close to her chest, we are also discovering things as she is discovering them. And I love that. I love to go on a journey with the character when the character is also discovering things. Like, I love that. And yeah, this book is giving us exactly that. This was the only 5-star in this whole thing, and I ate this up. I started looking for book 2 immediately, and book 2 unfortunately is not out yet. But book 1, if you have Kindle Unlimited, book 1 is out on Kindle Unlimited. So I do 100% recommend that you go and pick this up. This was a 5-star read for me. And you know what? That just goes to show, like, this year specifically, I've been reading a lot of trad pub stuff. And the things that like, not made me fall in love with reading, but the things that kept me reading were indie fantasy. Yeah, y'all need to go pick this up. You need to put your eyes on it. Of Wings of Blood, 5 stars. I do recommend. I hope you liked what you saw. If you did, don't forget to comment and subscribe. And I'll see you all next time. Ciao.